Simon.
Hi, Christy.
Great having you here. Welcome on the sofa of wisdom.
Thank you.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, always a pleasure having you. Last time, when we were on the sofa 1 year ago, your company was just been acquired by Siemens. So how's your time within the company, and what excites you the most, being a member of the family now?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind journey, and it's been a great journey. And I think anybody that's trying to deploy digital transformation in their own environment knows that you need a full ecosystem of products and services to deliver that. So being part of Siemens, having the breadth and depth of all that technology is absolutely fantastic for the Senseye team.
Wonderful. That's good to know. Just for the ones who don't know Senseye Predictive Maintenance yet, can you tell us what it actually is and what makes it so cool?
Yeah, so Senseye Predictive Maintenance is, as the name suggests, a predictive maintenance product. Mm-hmm. It's a fully automated product that can cover any type of machine. It's not specific to a certain type of rotary machine or electronic machine. It's any machine, any vendor, and you can scale that across an entire factory seamlessly. And we can use existing data from the shop floor to drive down those scalability costs. So
scalability is the secret spice here.
It is.
So which challenges do customers typically face in the realm of predictive maintenance? And I mean, we do have skill shortage. That was often mentioned in our presentations here. And the difficulty in sharing and disseminating knowledge within organizations is a tough job. So how do you address these issues?
Yeah, and I think that the issue with skill shortage, whether it's by experienced engineers retiring or not the right educations coming into the workforce, I think it's for any digital transformation project, that's an issue we're having, not just predictive maintenance. And it makes adoption and scaling those solutions so much more difficult. So we've, right from the beginning, back in 2015, at the DNA of Senseye is to keep it as simple as possible and make it suitable for both the average user, so your average maintenance engineer, and your expert user, maybe a reliability engineer, and being able to bridge those two worlds and making it very intuitive as possible.
Intuitive. I mean, there is so much data generated, and I often have the problem that there are tools, but I have no idea how to use it. So I think this is the big task here. So we've heard a lot about AI. It's all over the place. Definitely there is no technology not using AI anymore. And data is the new gold, as we say, and also the currency of the industrial metaverse. So how do you envision generative AI enhancing predictive maintenance capabilities in the future?
Yeah.
And are there any aspects in regards of predictive maintenance where GenAI is expected to have a significant impact?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and at Senseye, we've been using AI since the beginning. It's been at the core of what we've been doing. But you're right. AI is very much a hyped and perhaps overused term. There's actually interesting research done by MMC Ventures in London a couple of years ago that said that over 80% of products that say they use AI don't actually do AI. Right?
Oh.
So it's something that we need to be very cognizant of, that when a product claims to do AI, that it really is that. But with Senseye, we've obviously been doing AI, and if you look at the AI is quite a broad term. Within that, you've got machine learning, so that's processing historic data to uncover patterns. Within that, you've got deep learning, neural nets and things to take it to the next level. And then you can see that generative AI is kind of progression of that. And as the name suggests, generative AI is creating new content, and that's what makes it so exciting, because typical machine learning, you're looking for patterns and then identifying those patterns. With generative AI, you're actually being able to create new content. And going back to the issue of skill shortage and adoption of these technologies, being able to create new content, you can help bridge that gap and make the interaction between the system and the user much more of a dialogue rather than a reporting tool.
So in regards of the emphasis of importance of leveraging the human expertise alongside data and the AI in the predictive maintenance processes, how much influence does human insights have on your predictive maintenance? And can you give us some examples of that?
It's huge. A lot of condition monitoring, predictive maintenance products just take sensor data out of machines. And if you think about it, that's not actually a lot of context to make sense of what's going on. So you try to marry that to a lot of other sources of information, right? Obviously, we use things such as maintenance records to combine that with the sensor data. we might take notes that a user's input about the behavior of machine. And we also take their feedback in. So when they close an alert or when they comment on a machine, we can actually collect that feedback and use that to train the algorithms and make them better. And we found that that gives us far more accurate results, but also gives a lot more context back to the user. You're not just telling them that something's wrong, you're telling them why it's going wrong and how to fix it and what to do to prevent it coming back next time.
Okay, so in regards of this new tool set and it's integrated into your predictive maintenance solutions, what distinguishes your approach to Gen AI and how does it contribute to enhance predictive maintenance capabilities?
Well, we've always thought of Senseye as very much having a dialogue between the user and the system.
Yes.
And rather than being a reporting tool. And really, generative AI allows us to bring that to fruition, to bring that to reality by having a system that you can talk to and it can bring back and pass back a lot of information in a form that is digestible to you and can be easily distilled by you. And we call that kind of conversational predictive maintenance. So it's imagine that you've got the world expert maintenance engineer next to you who knows the factory for the last 300 years, and that's like your buddy, and that's who you're having a dialogue with. And generative AI allows us to have that dialogue in a very natural way.
In a natural way, talking about so much data and new tools and information, keeping the nature in there, I think is the most important thing. So looking ahead, what is the Senseye Predictive Maintenance ultimate goal for Gen AI integration, and how do you shape the future landscape of predictive maintenance?
Yeah, it's a good question. So here's another screenshot of what we've currently been doing with generative AI in the system itself. And by the way, later I'll show you where you can actually see this for live at our booth. But the whole point is rather than just flagging up an issue, you're actually giving them as much further information as possible. You can tell them maybe why the issue has occurred. Maybe you can look in maintenance manuals and pull some information out of that automatically to combine it with the sensor data and the alert data you're seeing. And it's all about, as I said, it's making that dialogue between the maintenance user and the system more natural. And going back to this first slide we had about the skills shortage, that massively helps that because it's bridging the gap between the expert, which can be the system, and maybe a novice user. And it really helps them do their job much more efficiently.
Is there any, let's say, industry where you say, here it's easy because there's already a lot of data available, but there is like new industries coming up, being more important, but there is a lot more learning still necessary?
I wish there was an industry that was leading the digital transformation push as a whole. But what we find is that there are clusters of companies who, for some reason or another, maybe because they've strategically aligned on that, are pushing ahead with this sort of technology more quickly than others. So I wouldn't say there's one industry that is ahead of others. I would say there's just individual leading companies within each industry that are leading the charge.
Mm-hmm. So what benefits do you foresee for our customers?
If I look at the main problems we have when we do deploy, and it comes back to the skill shortage, is adoption. And again, this is not just about predictive maintenance. It's any digital project you have, you often struggle with adoption. And if I can quote another statistic, Gartner a few years ago said that of all digital transformation projects, 83% fail. Right? And we're not just talking
83.
We're not just talking about predictive maintenance, just in general. So there's a high number of failure. Lots of reasons for it. It's not all to do about adoption and things. But disadoption is one of the key issues. And if you can make the system much more intuitive and much more closely aligned to how the user wants to use it and give as much information as possible to them, then they'll be able to adopt it more quickly and get benefits more quickly.
Mm-hmm. I think we have a video running here, right, where you can kind of talk about what's coming next.
Yeah, so this is kind of a co-pilot video, and you can see this on our booth in a minute as well. And this is not just a PowerPoint video. I mean, it is a PowerPoint video, but it's a real application as well that you can go to our booth and you can start interacting with it in whatever language you want, asking it questions about the machine. Why is it misbehaving? What happened in the past when it didn't work properly? What do you suggest I do to correct the action? Give me instructions in Chinese to pass on to my colleagues in Beijing on how to do that. So you can really see it's much more of a dialogue suddenly with the user rather than a kind of a more static reporting system.
To be honest, with some chatbots, I'm having like a hard
Yeah.
time with the dialogue because you always end at the go to the .com/help page.
Yeah.
That's not really helpful. So that's a different experience what you're offering.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is
Absolutely.
because of all the data available. So I'm pretty sure now that you want to test that and really figure out what's the promise of Simon and whether that's true. So where do we find you and the team?
Yep. It's actually, the stand is right there. There's some people waving
People
there.
waving there. Okay,
it's
so
conveniently located right next to the stage. And you can actually go and you can type it in and use it and make sure that it's real and not just slideware.
shall we give it a try, Simon?
Yeah, sure.
Shall we give it a try and ask Christian, our running reporter cameraman, to spontaneously jump there and do a test, or we get a cup of coffee? That's also a plan. Now this
sounds
is
good.
really super spontaneous, but we got like 2.5 minutes left. We could do that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
do a test run.
Yep,
Yep.
let's do that.
Let's do that. Come on, we're gonna check. We're gonna walk there and go for how the connectivity can work. Have a microphone there. Simon, question. How long have you been planning and playing that and working on that? So who was raising the hand?
It's right here. And my colleague, Ryan, can show us how it works. But we've been working on this for about 18 months, so pretty much when Gen AI started coming out. And this is the first release of on the roadmap. We've got a lot more planned, but this is the initial that we've released now to our customers. And there's a chatbot side that Ryan can show you, and you can type in and say, tell me something about this machine.
Okay, so tell me more about what I should do. Okay, so we had some problem.
Yeah. And of course, you can do this in any language you want and in level of formality as well.
Okay, so based on the current case evidence of a rising trend detected and considering the asset's history and maintenance tasks, here are the steps you should consider. So I really get my recipe of what I have to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to have that in my kitchen when there is some failure in my cooking skills of the perfect steak or whatever side dish that never works. So can you kind of give me some advice on how I should organize my kitchen as well?
We can do that for a small fee. Yeah.
Okay. So in regards of really the evolvement and the outcome of this work, it's really great. So what's in for like next year when you come back? Which further developments will you have achieved?
I mean, a lot of this will be taking and connecting even more data to the system. So one thing we'd like to do is connect all the manuals of the machines, of the maintenance practices into the system so you can draw on even more information. So think of like you have every single bit of information available about the machine and about that factory. You can make that available to Senseye and it can distill it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I took you off from stage, but I think everybody's seeing us. So definitely a big applause to Simon Kampa from Senseye.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.